Researchers at the University of Auckland have found a clever use for fruit and vegetable pomace. That's the byproduct from juicing. It contains fruit pulp, skin and seeds. Using a fermentation process and the addition of a microbe, they're able to turn these byproducts into high-protein, high-fibre, low-calorie flour.
This project is about converting byproduct from the fruit and juicing industries, the vegetables and fruits that are squeezed to make juice. And that's form a lot of byproducts. They're usually called pomace or marc, depending what type of fruit or vegetables you're talking about. And these are pulp, skins, and seeds. Usually they are waste, or they're given to animal feed, or composting, or back to soil. But what we decide to do is to ferment them and convert them into food for humans to consume, so we can add value to these byproducts. We have proved the concept at lab scale. In this scenario, in this space, we have produced few kilograms of each different flours, of different fruits and vegetables. We are now scaling up in a pilot plant, and there we intend this year to produce a few tons of the product to validate the scalability and the consistency of the product, and also run trials with other companies in formulations and to add these flours to different food products. Gluten-free is one of obvious market because this market is looking for alternative gluten-free flours that can add taste and flavor, which usually lack in other gluten-free flours. But there's also the vegan market or vegetarian market who is looking for alternative source of proteins that are not from animal source, what this is. Also for the supplement and nutraceutical market, looking for dietary fibers and prebiotics that are from vegetables and fermentation-derived products. In New Zealand, the grape marc is one of the largest byproducts from fruit in New Zealand, from the wine industry. After that, it's come apples. Apples are processed in big amounts in New Zealand as well for juice. And these, in Hawke's Bay area alone, is around 25,000 tons of apple pomace produced every year. But I also had to consider all the other fruits and vegetables like carrots and kiwi fruit and orange and things like that. It is an exciting space because I think in the future we are restricted by food sources and protein sources. One way is to increase the amount of food we can produce, but these require a lot of space and land. And another way is to use more what we are producing instead of wasting. So we are trying to track this problem in this side.
We get the pulp of the pomace from the juicing industry or wineries, and we ferment first. So we put our microbe on the pomace, we ferment. After that, we dry and grind to make the flour. Pulps have different features, so acidity, sugar content, and the microbes that we use was like designed for this type of substrate. So we use microbes that can get used to this environment to ferment it. Beside the fermentation was a lot of other things that we had to learn, especially about food technology. That was not my area initially. So how to make the flour, the drying process is a science itself. The grinding, the size of the particles was important for cooking, and all that we were learning in the process, and we continue to learn until now.
Yes, the same amount of sugar.
This one is much sweeter.
Mm-hmm. We are starting with apple pomace because it's spread throughout the year. So for us, it's easier to work with the substrate. Grapes are just in the beginning of the year, so it's a lot of grape marc in the beginning, just once, so it's hard to work with that. So we choose apple, that's easier because it's spread.
What the market wants is diversity. Different products will give different flavors and different textures. the carrot flour, which is very bland, very neutral in flavor and color. And you have from the orange-derived fermented flour, which is more flour and sweet. And you have, to the other end, you have the grape mark-derived flour or the apple flours, who are more strong flours in terms of taste and color. These cooking flours is the only flours that are very low in calorie and has no starch at all. So it has high protein, high dietary fiber content, but very low in sugar and in starch. So that makes them very low glycemic intake. So it's very favorable for someone who wants to have your regular muffin or brownie with a much lower calorie, for example. You can have that as a dietary fiber supplement that you can add in your cereal in the morning, in your muesli mix, that helps your digestion, helps the move of your bowel, because of the high content of some prebiotics help the work of your gut.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.